Okay, good morning everyone, and Hazak Baruch. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful Friday morning, Erev Shabbat Kodesh. My friends, we have a double header, Parashat Nitzavim and Parashat Vayelech. Parashat Vayelech has in it the last and final mitzvah in the entire Torah of the 613, the 613th mitzvah. Anyone know what it is? Very good, Nathan. Ve'ata says the Pasuk, chapter 31, Pasuk 19. Ve'ata kitvu lachem et hashira hazot. Moshe Rabbeinu says to the Jewish people that now you have to write this song for yourself. Now again, there's a pshat to the Pasuk, the pshat, and then there's the deeper, the drash. The pshat, he's talking about, the commentaries say, the specific song that he's about to sing, the song of Ha'azinu. He says, write that song of Ha'azinu. But our rabbis tell us that we learn from here as well the mitzvah of writing this entire song. The whole Torah is a song. And Moshe Rabbeinu reminds us that you have to write this Torah down. V'lamda et bnei Yisrael, teach it to the Jewish people. Sima befihem, place it in their mouth. There is a mitzvah on every single person to write a Torah scroll. And that, by the way, can be fulfilled by writing even one letter. That's why if you have an opportunity to join a Sefer Torah writing, you should definitely try to be there. Even women can go next to the rabbi. The rabbi will write it and have them in mind. And that counts. Even one letter counts, because if a Torah is missing a letter, the Torah is not kosher. So when you write that letter, you made it a kosher Torah. Some commentaries explain that today you can fulfill this mitzvah by purchasing sfarim. That is the opinion of the Chinuch. Because the Torah is, today we also have the Torah Sheba'al Peh, we have sfarim written. So any books that you purchase that have Torah related is a way to fulfill the mitzvah of writing. So that's what it says over here. Ve'ata kitvu lachem et hashira hazot. But the Pasuk says that it's not enough to write the Torah down. Pasuk says, Sima befihem. Torah says you got to teach it to the people. Lamda ota, you got to teach it. You got to put it in their mouth. I want to share with you the Gemara. Very important Gemara. Gemara is found in Masechet Eruvin. Gemara says, Rabbi Akiva Omer, Menayin shehayav adam leshanot letalmido ad sheyilamedenu. From where do we know that a person is obligated to teach Torah to their children, to his students, until he learns it and he understands it? Shne'emar v'lameda et bnei Yisrael. It says in our pasuk, teach it. So there's an obligation to teach it. Okay, so it's not enough to learn Torah. If you're listening to this class, that's very nice, but you still have not fulfilled teaching. So everyone after this class, you got to go out and teach Torah to people. Beautiful. Uminayin, and how do I know that not only do I have to teach it, but I have to teach it in a way that it's going to be remembered, that it's going to be organized in their mouths. And that's what it says, Sima befihem. You as a teacher, and every one of us is a teacher, whether we're a teacher in school, or maybe we're a teacher at home, we have children, or we have friends, or people in the office workspace. You have to try to do a job. You have to do your job of making the Torah as clear as possible, as yummy as possible, tasty. Sima befihem. You gotta do your best. Don't just teach Torah. You gotta think about how is he going to hear it? How is he going to absorb it? What parable could I give? What's his language? This person likes sports. This person likes business. How do I relate it to him? Sima befihem. That's your job as a rabbi. You can't just teach it. This is Torah. Come to me. I'll teach it to you the way I know it. No. That's not your job. Your job is to put it in their mouths. You have to do it in a way that they're capable of hearing it. And not only that, you have to also explain to them. Says the Gemara, Menayin shehayav laharot lo panim. If he says, why? Why? That's the most annoying question that we could get as parents, no? Or as rebbes, teachers, moras. Why? We hate that question. You know why we hate it? Because we ourselves don't know why. You don't know why. So you don't know the answer, so it annoys you. So what do we do instead of giving them the real answer is, I don't know. Really, you should say, when your kid asks you why, you should say, wow, it's a good question. I don't even know why, to be honest. But we don't want to look like we're maybe dumb. We don't want to look incompetent. We don't want our kids to think that we don't know everything. By the way, there's something beautiful about telling your kids, that's a good question, I have no idea. You know what, let's go ask the rabbi tomorrow in shul. Realize what you're teaching your kid if you say something like that. That's gold. That's precious. That's beautiful. But we don't want to say those words, chas v'shalom, that I should not know. So what do we tell our kids sometimes? We tell them, because I said. Na'aseh v'nishma. We just do. We're soldiers. We don't ask. And we give them the impression that Judaism, we're not allowed to ask questions. And that's a very, very big disservice. It's a very tragic thing. Because actually the Torah says, the Gemara says right here, the exact opposite. Hayav leharot lo panim. You got to show them the reasoning. You got to tell them why. Like it says, Shene'emar ve'ele hamishpatim asher tasim lifnehem. You got to put it out in a logical fashion for the students to understand. Torah is not meant to be just listen because I said dictator. That's not the Torah. That's maybe a czar. But Hashem, lo yeh becha el zar. You like that one? Hashem cannot be for you a czar. God's not a czar. God's not a dictator. God's not a stranger. He's not just do because I said. Hashem, there's logic. Now, yes, sometimes we don't know everything. Sometimes there's questions that we'll never have answers to. But we got to do our best. Ve'ele hamishpatim asher tasim lifnehem. And so this is the mitzvah, my friends, of teaching Torah, of reviewing Torah, hazara. Hazara is very important when you learn something. You got to learn it and learn it and learn it and learn it until you remember it. Sima befihem, make them review it. Ask them, question them. Tell me, what do you think he meant? Sima befihem. We know that the Jewish people, they didn't learn the Torah once from Moshe. They learned the Torah 4 times, they reviewed it. And the Gemara tells us the order. How Moshe came in and he taught his brother Aharon. And then his brother Aharon sat on the side, and then Moshe taught it to Aharon's sons. And they came and sat on the sides, and then Moshe taught it to the elders. And the elders came and sat on the side, and then Moshe taught it to the entire Jewish people. So Moshe has taught it 4 times already. And his brother Aharon heard it. How many times? 3. Sorry, Aharon heard it 4. Aharon heard it from himself. He heard it when it was taught to his kids, to the elders, and to the people. So Aharon heard it 4. His sons only heard it 3 so far. The elders only heard it 2. And the Jews only heard it 1. And then Moshe would leave, and Aharon would then teach it all to the people. So now his sons heard it now 4 times. The elders 3, the people 2. And then Aharon leaves, and his sons now would teach it. And now his sons would teach it. The elders would now have 4, and the Jewish people 3. And then the sons would leave, and the elders would teach it one last time to the people. So everyone had it 4 times. Unbelievable. So, says the Gemara that there was a famous story. Take a look at the story over here. There was a great rabbi, his name was Rabbi Perida. Rabbi Perida hava le'ahu talmida. He had a certain student. We all have this type of student. Today it's ADHD. But they didn't have back then concerta. So here's what happened. Hahu talmida dehava tani le'arba me'a zimni vegamar. He had to teach his student 400 times. And only then would he be able to learn the material. He wasn't able to understand the first 399. He didn't comprehend. He was not there. He wasn't around, present. He was spacing out. I don't know what it was. He had to teach him 400 times. So if you think today you have tough students, it's not a new phenomenon. 400 times, every single page, every story, every concept, 400 times. Okay? Yom Ahad ba'yuha l'miltad mitzvah. One day they needed Rabbi Pereda for a mitzvah. So they came and they said, Rabbi, we right after the class, please come, we're going to need you. So, Tanile vela gamar. So he taught his student 400 times as usual, but this time something happened. It wasn't successful. The kid didn't learn. The Rebbe said, Mani shtana. What happened? Usually 400 and you got it. This time 400, you still didn't get it. What changed today? Amar le medahi sha'ta de amar le lemori kamilta de mitzvah is hilada'tai. When they came and told you that they have a mitzvah coming up, that they're going to need you, I got distracted. Chol sha'ta amina, because every moment I said, Hashta ka'amar. I thought that you're going to leave any second now. So really I was distracted from the beginning. Wow. Amar le hav da'atich ve'at nilich. Rabbi Pereda said, okay, don't worry about me going, I'm here. Pay attention, let me teach you. And I'm not leaving until you master this, so don't worry about me rushing. Hadar tanile arba me'azimni ve'aharina. And he finally taught him 400 more times. Says the Gemara, Nafka bat kala ve'amarle. A voice came from the heavens and said, so impressed in Shamayim at the patience of this rabbi. And they said to him, Ni halach delisfulach arba me'a shaneh. Would you rather 400 years? Or detisku'at v'darach le'alma de'ati? Or would you rather you and your entire generation go to the world to come? You pick. Amar, and he responded, Denisku ana v'darai le'alma de'ati. I want this, I want the next world for me and my generation. Amar le'en HaKadosh Baruch Hu teno lu zo vezo. And God was so pleased and satisfied with his answer that he wanted the next world, that he didn't want this world. God says, you know what, let's give him both. A very beautiful Gemara. A Gemara that teaches us the importance of teaching Torah to people 400 times even. Patience, my friends. Patience with our children. Patience with our spouse. A lot of times we expect our spouse to be on a certain religious level. We get frustrated. I don't understand. How long is it taking you already? You're growing too slowly. 400 times, my friends. The question is, over here on the story, what was the big deal that the rabbi chose? He chose wisely. Sorry. Is it really so wise that he chose the next world? It sounds like another story, by the way. Give you a minute if you want to take a guess. Which other story did they give somebody a similar ultimatum? Similar story. Story is told of Shlomo HaMelech when he became the king. And Hashem told him, ask me whatever you like. And Shlomo did not ask for power. He did not ask for wealth. He asked for da'at, for knowledge, how to be able to properly judge the people. And so we see over here that Shlomo really asked for something very similar. And by the way, God answered the same answer. You know what? I'll give you all of the above. Sounds like a deja vu story almost. What's so impressive that Rabbi Pereda chose wisely? Shlomo did that at 13. Shlomo became the king at 13, remember. Or 12. What was so impressive? And our rabbis tell us what was impressive is not that he asked for Olam Haba. Olam Haba he knew he had. You see, you had to read the story carefully. What was the two choices? It wasn't Olam Haba or 400 years of life. It was Olam Haba for you and your entire generation. At Vedarach. That was the question. That was the choice. The choice wasn't him. He knew he was in. It was, do you want Olam Haba for your generation? Or would you rather have 400 years for yourself? That was the ultimatum. It's not him this world or him next world. It's him this world or everyone else the next world. There was nothing in it with choice B. Choice B, he knew he had already Olam Haba. But was he ready to now sacrifice his world for someone else's next world? And I think what's coming to my mind now is that really, it's beautiful. And it makes a lot of sense. Because after all, isn't that what he was doing his entire life anyways? When you become a teacher, when you teach another kid 400 times, you have to sacrifice a lot of time. Anyways, his whole life he was giving up this world to be able to give another kid a taste of Torah. He was giving another kid a taste of the next world. So when God says, would you rather this world 400 years for yourself, or would you rather the next world? The rabbi anyways was doing that. And that was what he chose, the next world for everyone else. God knew he was going to pick that answer. He was picking that answer his whole life. When a person teaches Torah, they're giving up from their time. They're giving up from their ability to further advance their own learning. And that's why Hashem rewarded him. Hashem said, you know what? I'm going to give you both. And maybe Hashem is reminding us that ultimately when we give from our time, from our resources, we never end up losing really. Some way or another, Hashem finds a way to get it back to us. God says, okay, you know what? I'm going to give you the next world, and I'm going to give you this world too. You don't lose by helping other people. You know, there's a mitzvah of kibud avayim, respecting parents. Respecting parents takes a lot of energy, takes a lot of time. You got to clothe them, you got to feed them, you got to take them to appointments, you got to spend time talking to them, you got to go pick them up, you got to drop them off, you got to help them do things. Not easy thing to respect and honor parents. But you know what God promises? What's the reward for respecting parents? Long life. God says, you've given up part of your life for your parents, so let me make it up to you. Let me just extend your life. How many years did you lose helping your parents? You lost 15 years. Let's add up all the seconds. How many years you lost? Here's 15 more. So we don't really lose. Rabbi Pereda, God says, you know what? Here's 400 more years. You wasted so much of your time teaching this kid. But I'm going to make it up to you. There's a famous story that's told that took place in the yeshiva in Radin. Who lived in Radin? Who was the famous Rav of Radin? The Hafetz Haim. There was a gemach. Oh, beautiful. That's the point. You're not wasting, you're investing. You're investing in yourself. You're investing in the future. And don't worry about what may seem like a loss. You're not losing. You're just investing in yourself. You're going to get it back. The story in Radin, in the yeshiva of Radin, so they had a gemach. They had a gemach, things that they would give out. If people needed money, if people needed certain things, they had a gemach. Gemilut Chasadim it stands for. Today they have, Baruch Hashem, gemach for a lot of things. A lot of good things and a lot of not so good things. You know, they have gemach today for, someone told me they have empty scotch bottles. Gemach for very expensive, empty scotch bottles. So if you have a simcha, you can borrow the scotch bottles, Blue Label or, 30-year Japanese, few $1,000 bottle. You fill it up with the cheap stuff. And now people think you have a really nice, collection. And then you give back the bottle when you're done. So gemach bottles, okay. Ashrehem Yisrael. Geneva da'at. Okay, that's an interesting halachic question. What are you stealing? What are you stealing? Right? If you're hosting people in a party, right? So is the geneva da'at. If you're giving someone a gift then now he thinks that you're treating him better than you really are, and then he's going to reciprocate. Maybe that's geneva da'at. But here you're not giving a gift to anybody. Here you're hosting your own party. So I don't know, it's an interesting question. Is there geneva da'at? I'm giving you alcohol. I'm misleading you. I'm stealing the impression, but again, what am I taking? If it's going to cause you to now give me something in return more than what it's really worth, then I hear. But it's just if you're throwing a party and you make people. Is there a sin to make people think that you're richer than you really are? Are you not allowed to put real? Because again, when you walk into a store, you're asking the price. You're taking the guy's time, right? Here, what are you taking? What are you taking? I don't know. It's an interesting halachic question. I don't want to get into right now the case of the fake scotch, 30-year-old bottle. But either way, the gemach, they had a gemach in this yeshiva in Radin, and they needed every week another kid to take care of the gemach. You're in charge. If anyone needs something, you're the guy that they go to this week. And every week another kid would take his turn. It's only fair. Got to contribute. Can't just mooch your whole life. You got to give back. It's important to give back. If you're part of a league, if you're part of a shul, you got to give. You got to give. You got to help. They're collecting for the learning. They're collecting for the shul. Membership. You got to give membership. You're there. You're receiving. You're benefiting from the learning, from the coaching, from the advice, from the food. You got to give back. How do you not give back? Oh, why should I pay membership? What am I getting? What do you mean, what are you getting? You're getting everything. You're there every day. How do you not give back? Okay, a person doesn't have. But a person's gotta invest. A person's gotta be there for the community. Anyways, there was one lamdan in the yeshiva. Lamdan, from the word lilmod. This guy, you could call him, he was a big steiger. He was a serious learner. Didn't pick up his head from the books for a second. This lamdan, right? Very diligent in his studies. Every second he was learning, his head in the books. He didn't look up. And so when they took turns, and every kid took another turn, so they asked this kid, you want to take a week of taking care of the gemach, take a turn. And the kid rejected. He said, decline. I don't want to take care of a gemach. I don't want to take care of hesed. I don't want to take care of, helping. I'm busy learning Torah. I'm learning Torah. I don't want to waste my time. So anyways, the boys went to the Chafetz Chaim, the Rosh Yeshiva. They said, Rebbe, maybe, everyone's taking a turn and this kid doesn't want to take a turn. And he's excusing himself that he's learning. He's a serious learner, which he is. He was a very serious learner. But maybe the rabbi could speak to him. So the Chafetz Chaim, he called the boy over. And he said, come, let's learn. They opened the Gemara together. Masechet Rosh Hashanah. I want to read to you the Gemara that the Chafetz Chaim read to this boy. He opened Masechet Rosh Hashanah, page 18. Yud Het. Amar Biyonatan. Look at this Gemara, my friends. Very important Gemara to know for life. Minayin l'gzar din. How do you know that if there's a gzar din? Gzar din means a verdict. God forbid if there's a verdict with a shevu'ah, she'eno nikra, that if the God stamps his seal on a verdict, that it doesn't get ripped. So it quotes a pasuk, Lachen ishba'ti lebet Eli, im yitkaper avon bet Eli bezevach u'bmincha. God says, I swear that Eli will not be forgiven. We know Eli was a Kohen Gadol. Eli was a great man, but unfortunately, he didn't care to try to discipline his children. He didn't do anything about disciplining his family. He let them take their own path in life. Hashem punished him with karet. Karet is a very serious punishment that you don't really live long. 18 or so. And that's why there's even family today that they're correct. They have tradition that they come from Eli, and they call themselves in Arabic, their last name, they're from Syria, their last name is Towel. Towel is not what you dry your hands with. Towel really is from Arabic, Tawil. Tawil is long. When you bless someone, you say, Tawil Amrak. He should lengthen your life. Tawil, towel, long. Became Americanized, towel. But it's Tawil. Not tall. Tawil is long life. They bless themselves with long life as a way of hoping that they will undo the curse. And Baruch Hashem, today, we don't find that the curse, because why is the curse not in effect? So let me read to you what the Gemara says. Amar Rava, Bezevahu bemincha eno mitkaper. The pasuk says, I will never forgive Eli even if he brings all the sacrifices. Says Rava, with sacrifices he's not forgiven. Ava mitkaper baTorah. But with Torah he is forgiven. Abaye added, Bezevahu bemincha eno mitkaper. Sacrifice is not forgiven. Ava mitkaper beTorah ubegimilut hasadim. But he is forgiven when he learns, and you are forgiven if you do chesed. So here you have two rabbis. Look at this. Rabbah ve Abaye both came from Eli. Rabbah asik baTorah. Rabbah learned. He delved into Torah his whole life. Haya arbe'i shanin. He lived till 40. Abaye de asik beTorah ubegmilut chasadim. Haya shetin. He lived till 60. Tanu Rabbanan, the story time. Mishpa'ah hatayta beYerushalayim. Gemara says there was a family in Jerusalem. Hayu meteh hametin bnei shemona asrei. All the kids died at 18. Ba'u ve'odiu et Rabbi Yohanan. They came and asked Rabbi Yohanan. Amar lahem shema mishpachat Eli atem. Rabbi Yohanan said, maybe you're dying young because you're from Eli. And he quoted the pasuk. So he said, go and learn Torah and you'll live. They learned Torah, they lived. And they would call their children Yochanan. Thanks to Rabbi Yochanan's advice. So said the Hafetz Hayim to this Lamdan. This is the Gemara they learned together. So Hafetz Hayim turned to the Lamdan and said, how come Abaye lived for 20 more years? Because he did not only learning, but he also did Hesed. And God says, I know when you do Hesed, you're losing time from your own self, from your own growth, to be able to help the other guys. But when God says, don't worry, because when you do Hesed, I'll make it up to you. That lost time that you lost by helping people, you're not losing it. I'm going to give you more life. And so, if you take care of the Gemach, Hashem will give you more time later to go and learn. And this was enough to encourage the young man to take his share in running the Gemach. So, that's an amazing lesson. You know, at this time of the year, we want more life. We're turning to Hashem. Zochrenu lehayim. What could I do, Hashem? I want more life. But now, based on what we're learning today, very straight answer from the Gemara, that use your time for other people. When you use your time for the community, when you use your time for helping, for building organizations, schools, shuls, Hesed, Gemach, when you use your time for other people, then God has to pay you back that time. Because really, you didn't get to enjoy it yet. You've used it. So God says, okay, you know what? Here, I'm going to make it up to you. Take another year. Take more time. You spend 20 years taking care of the community. Here's 20 more years to go spend on yourself. A person spends their time taking care of their parents. God says, okay, here, kibur avayim v'ha'arachta yamim. Long life. You wasted time. We wasted time taking care of your mom and dad. So here's life for yourself later on. I make it up to you. You never lose when you help Hashem. You never lose when you take care of God, when you take care of the world, when you take care of people. A person gives tzedakah, you're not losing. When a person gives tzedakah, God says, don't worry, I'll make it up to you. Here's times 10. When you give ma'aser, you're getting 100 times more. You're not losing. God says opposite. I see that you're giving it. Here, take more. Use it more. And I'm sure you know, and I know many stories of people that they write the check before they even make the deal. And God says, here, you're giving, I'm giving. So as we're thinking of Teshuvah, as we're thinking of what can I do this year, Often we're thinking of, how do I improve ben adam lamakom? How do I improve man to God? Which we should, absolutely. We have to. But we cannot forget the importance of improving man to man. We cannot forget the importance of working on our patience. When we're thinking of what could I do this year to be better, kosher is important. What we bring into our mouths. But maybe we could also make a Kabbalah to be careful. What are we going to let leave our mouths this year? How do I work on my gossip? How could I work on not hurting people's feelings? How do I work on being a better husband? On being a better wife? How do I work on making people feel good, not bad? How do I work on Lashon HaTov? On lifting the people around me. That's an important Kabbalah for Rosh Hashanah. Kosher, in, and then also what comes out. Elul stands for Ani ledodi vedodi li, right? It also stands for Ani leuman veishti levad. Okay? If you don't understand that joke, you can text me later. I'll say it again. Ani leuman veishti levad. I go to Uman and my wife stays alone. Okay? Chas v'shalom. Okay, fine. I'm not telling you to tell you what to do. That's between you and your wife. But either way. Ani ledodi vedodi li. I am to God and God is to me. But there is another remez in the Torah of these 4 letters. Megillat Esther, find it. It says right here, take a look. It says you have to give matanot, right? Mishloach manot, ish lere'ehu umatanot la'evyonim. Ish aleph lere'ehu lamed umatanot vav la'evyonim lamed. Elul. So Elul is I'm to God and God is to me, but Elul is also I'm to my friend. Ish lere'ehu matanot la'evyonim. Because if Hashem is my father, then the Jew next to me is my brother. We can never forget that, my friends. If Hashem is Avinu, if we love our Father in heaven, and we're going to work this way, how am I going to be better? We cannot forget to also think about, that means that the guy next to me is also Hashem's son. And if he's Hashem's son and I'm Hashem's son, then I'm his brother. And we cannot allow ourselves to sacrifice. If a man goes to his dad and says, Daddy, I love you, the first question the dad says to his son, yes, so why are you fighting? Why are you hurting my son? Why are you fighting with your brother? If you love me, make shalom. So we love Hashem, we got to make shalom with people. So this time of the year we have tefillah, we have teshuvah, and we have tzedakah. And all 3 are very important. Ma'avirin et rova ha'gezerah. All 3 together, they remove the gzerah. They remove the decree against us, God forbid, of death, of sick, of fighting, of poor, whatever the decree is. Tefillah, teshuvah, and tzedakah. And so as we approach the upcoming week, it's crunch time, my friends. It's crunch time. There's no time. That's it. Rosh Hashanah is here. So we gotta step up. We gotta step up in our ben adam lamakom. We gotta also remember to step up in our ben adam lahavero, in our man to man, in our helping, in our giving, in our concern, in our tzedakah. And and I'll end with this idea. Isn't this beautiful idea from Rav Vayelech? In life, whenever you ask for something, you gotta pay. When we're asking Hashem for life, we say, God, please give me some life this year. So you got to pay really equally. How do you pay for life? What's equal to life? The only thing you could pay life with is life. That's why sometimes a person needs suffering as a form of teshuvah, by the way. Because I'm asking for a new year. So God says, okay, if you want life, you got to pay with life. You got, right? Blood for blood. You got to pay. And one of the ways to pay for life is when a person lessens the quality of their life. So now you're paying with life for life. Says Rav Vayelech, there's another way to pay with life. By enhancing someone else's. When we help someone else's life, then we are able to earn our own life. Life for life. And so maybe there's somebody that you could find. Maybe think of somebody that you could look for, that's struggling in their life, that's struggling in maybe ways that you're not. Maybe you were blessed with money. Maybe there's someone that wasn't. Find them. If you can't find them, maybe call your rabbi. I'm sure he could help you find many people that don't have good quality of life. And say, here, I'm having an amazing holiday. I just bought 35 new pieces of clothing for my family members. This guy can barely put chicken on the table for the Chag. Here's 10K, Rabbi. I want you to change their year. Here's 20K. Here's 50K. Give it out. Give it out 5K a person. I want you to change their Chag. I want them to have the best holiday. I want them to have the best meals, the best candies. I want their life to be sweet this year. I want to have a sweet year. I'm going to give someone else a sweet year. Give them whatever. Here you go. Maybe you don't have money. Maybe you were blessed with time. Rabbi, here's some time. I have time. I want to use that time. How can I use my time to help people? What do you need me for? Hineni, I'm here. I want to give time. Life. I want to help someone else. For life. Hashem will give me life. Be'ezrat Hashem, we should be zocheh to teach the Torah, to sima befihem, to make it delicious and yummy and tasty. To remember that our job here is to teach, our job here is to give, to be patient, even if it means 400 times with our student, it's okay. Because don't worry, Hashem is going to give you back. Be'ezrat Hashem, when we give, Hashem will give us, Be'ezrat Hashem, for us and our families, an amazing year ahead. Okay, we'll stop over here, my friends. Have a wonderful day, and Shabbat Shalom, and hopefully we'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.